Buongiorno a tutti. Allora, intanto benvenuti. Volevo intanto dare a tutti il benvenuto, scusate per il ritardo un attimo, ma ho avuto un piccolissimo problema tecnico. Allora, quest'oggi vi accogliamo al nostro webinar AI Strategies in the English Classroom. Questo è il cappello che raccoglie una serie di webinar che la casa editrice Rizzoli sta proponendo a voi docenti e la giornata di oggi vedrà relatrice Cristina Prandi che ci racconterà Next Generation Late Learning AI Strategies in the English Classroom. Allora, Cristina Prandi, forse molti di voi già la conoscono, è comunque una docente di lingua e letteratura straniera in un liceo del linguistico, classico, scientifico e delle scienze umane, il liceo di Bra. E è anche responsabile della sezione ESABAC e quindi si occupa di didattica, è formatrice e ha una estrema passione per tutto quello che nella didattica è innovativo, tecnologico, e quindi oggi ci aprirà una visuale nuova che potremo seguire. Allora, vi dico soltanto qualche piccolo dettaglio tecnico che può servire per seguire questo webinar. Le vostre domande le potete inserire nella chat di YouTube che vedete e alla fine del seminario di Cristina io le selezionerò, nel senso che cercherò di raccoglierle per grandi temi e le porrò a Cristina che ci risponderà. Quindi alla fine del nostro webinar abbiamo una decina di minuti per anche fare delle domande. Abbiamo dunque, avrete l'attestato di partecipazione che potrete scaricare nei prossimi giorni dal sito Rizzoli Education alla pagina attestati e anche troverete lì le slide che stiamo utilizzando in questa diretta. Per coloro che vedranno l'evento in differita, l'attestato sarà disponibile soltanto a coloro che avranno effettuato l'accesso dalla mail di conferma entro la mezzanotte di oggi. La registrazione resterà comunque disponibile sul nostro canale YouTube allo stesso indirizzo a cui la state vedendo adesso. Se desiderate essere informati circa gli altri eventi della casa editrice su questo ed altri temi, potete premere il tasto iscriviti qui in basso e poi avrete quindi poi sulla campanella la notifica di quello che avviene di nuovo. Direi che vi posso lasciare a Cristina. Cristina, ciao, benvenuta e grazie.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Oh, grazie.
Thanks. Now, thank you for being here, for attending this session. And what shall we do today? Now, we are going to talk about our session will develop into moments. The first moment in which we will be talking about why the AI should be used to teach literature, and about how to create a safe environment for our students when dealing with AI. The second part will be much more practical, I hope, and I'm going to talk to you about how learning to write good prompts can help our students develop new and old skills. And I'll give you some examples of activities that we can create using AI tools. I am referring to English literature, but as you will see, because I see there are many names of people I already know, but I am sure being we all professionals in our field, you will see how easy it is to adapt the things, the activities I am going to talk to you about, also to other aspects of the teaching of English. First question is, why should we incorporate, why should we use the AI when we teach English literature? Well, actually, Probably because the first chatbots such as ChatGPT and others have already been on the internet for more than 1 year, we probably have already understood that there are many advantages in using the AI in our literary lessons. First of all, we are not only giving our students a way to enhance the way they understand, but also we are giving them more engaging lessons, and probably we are teaching them to use to be part of that technological landscape where they will be projected the moment they end high school. From a pedagogical standpoint, AI can transform traditional literature teaching methodologies, providing new ways to explore complex themes, characters, complex narratives. The AI can analyze vast amounts of text quickly, and therefore it can uncover patterns, interpretations that might not be immediately clear and obvious even to the seasoned reader as we are. This capability allows students to engage in deeper analysis and comparative studies effectively. For example, the AI can help identify themes or stylistic elements across different works of an author, or compare works from different authors or different periods of genres. And in so doing, we will be enriching our students' understanding and appreciation of literature. But also, you'll probably be aware by now that the AI allows us to personalize the study of our students because they will be given the opportunity to work on texts that will be otherwise, for some of them at least, challenging. I am thinking of those DSA or BES students that we really want and need to enclose to be more part of our everyday teaching methods. As teachers and educators, we also know that in education, engagement is important. So apart from personalizing the studies, we also will provide our students with a livelier environment, and we will give them the possibility to confront masterpieces of the past that from their point of view might not seem so related to their everyday life, compare them to their everyday experience of the world. Last but not least, we will also be giving them the valuable opportunity of discussing and teaching ethical considerations, because our students also need to understand the importance of using technology responsibly. They need to know the limitations of AI, and also the bias and the possible implications that the use of AI has in society. They will, when they finish their studies with us in our high schools, they will be given the opportunity to enter either the academic world or the work field, and they will need to know how to relate to the AI that will be part of their life. It is important to remember that for privacy reasons, when we are dealing with underage students, we have to be aware of the protection of their data. There are laws European ones, for instance, the GDPR or the AI Act, which was passed this last May. There are laws that protect the students, underage students, from an environment which might not be totally safe. The first level of protection is not to give the machine our students' data. This means that we need to use tools that do not collect data from the users, which is quite an easy thing to do, because there are some tools, such as, for instance, Magic School AI, Mizu, but also Canva, Gemini Education, and so on, that provide a safe environment. In some cases, the teacher can even program the chatbot and just give a code to the students, for the students to type in the platform in order for them to access directly the chatbot. So we are not going to give the machine our students' data, just numbers, just codes that they will use. It is important we know about our school's policy about the protection of our students' data. So please always bear in mind that we have to gather information from our school in order to comply with the requirements. Now, by integrating the AI in our literature textbooks, as we are noticing it is happening in the last months, we also aim to provide a richer and more interactive learning experience. I know that the moment I wrote the title of the slide, AI and critical thinking, I thought that it's difficult for some of us to see together, written in the same phrase, in the same sentence, AI and critical thinking, because we tended to think that the use of AI will really level the critical capabilities of our students. Instead, I hope that if we focus really on the development of critical thinking, we will give our students the possibility of growing in their intellectual skills that are critical skills, giving them also new perspectives to analyze. Talking with the machine means you are talking with a different point of view. I know it might seem that a machine's point of view is not that interesting to take into account, but this means that the moment the student is exposed to the thoughts, to the machine itself, the student will need to think back to his own way of thinking, and this will give us another important possibility, that is having them reflect on a metacognitive level. An important aspect of the interaction with the machine is prompt engineering. We all have tried during the first months in which Chat-GPT came out 1 year and a half ago, 2 years ago almost. We probably experienced the frustration of not being capable of writing good prompts in order to get exactly what we wanted to get from the machine. Now, I've thought, and I have confronted myself with other teachers, and we have understood that learning how to write effective prompts actually can foster a variety of essential skills in our students. First of all, critical thinking. You will see this phrase critical thinking repeated more times, more and more during this session, because really this is an attempt from my side to show you that we do not have to think that critical thinking is dead the moment ChatGPT came to life. Now, critical thinking, this skill improves the capability of our students of analyzing requirements when they have to learn to dissect the components of a task. They have to develop their problem solving, anticipating potential challenges and addressing these challenges preemptively. Evaluation also comes out because they have to develop the ability to assess the quality and the relevance of their prompts, also on the basis of the answers the machine gives them. Communication skills are also developed by prompt writing. Students must develop clarity and precision. They have to convey their thoughts clearly and precisely. They have to develop audience awareness. Are they addressing their peers? Are they addressing teachers or an AI tool? They have to know how also the correct register, how to write and how to speak. Organizational skills, they have to learn to organize their ideas logically. It depends on the logical organization of your material if the machine gives you the correct answer, or better, the answer you are expecting it to give you. Creativity is developed. Innovative thinking means that they have to think creatively, especially when formulating questions or tasks that engage and challenge the recipient. But also they have to learn to express their understanding and interpretation of a topic. And as a consequence, they also have to learn to know the topic quite well. Technical literacy is another skill which will be developed because, and this skill is a very important one because it is one of the skills that we should develop in the citizens of the 21st century, therefore in our students. Digital skills, therefore, which come out when students familiarize with digital platforms, and also adaptability because they have to adapt their prompts to various digital interfaces. Research skills. Before writing a prompt, you really have to do background research. You have to gather information and synthesize information. The evaluation of sources. Students need to learn how to, if a source is a reliable one, and also evaluate the credibility of the sources before starting to write their prompts. Collaboration skills will be developed. All the activities I am going to talk to you about, but I expect all the activities we already do in the classroom are made by groups, are made by pairs, so are done in groups, in pairs. This is something important because in so doing, our students learn how to give peer feedback, which is given not only to the peers, but also to the prompts their peers have written. And the skills related to group work will also obviously be enhanced. Metacognition, again, this word comes out. Metacognition is developed when we together with our when we ask our students to do self-reflection. They have to reflect on their own understanding of the subject, but also on the they have to learn to identify gaps in their knowledge and areas for improvement. They have to learn to set goals. So again, to set clear objectives, to develop the ability to plan. And all these have to do with metacognition. Last but not least, subject mastery. It has to do with a deep understanding of the subject matter, which the students have to get before starting to work with the machine. So as you can see from this list, teaching how to write effective prompts also means that we are helping them become well-rounded individuals capable of tackling complex tasks with confidence and competence. And this is exactly what we want to do with them. The aim that, apart from the contents that we are going to give them, that can be literary ones or others, this is what I'm sure we all want to do with our students. We will now look more closely at the kinds of activities we can create with the AI. And I focused on two specific fields. First, I'm going to show you some activities you can do using art generating tools, and then activities you can do using chatbots. In all these activities can be done with tools that are free. I already mentioned some of them before. Magic School, AI, it is useful, it is safe, and it is really, it has a great number of tools that are free, so we can use them. But also there are also many others, and even Gemini Education, for those of you whose schools use Google Workspace, you probably know that Gemini is free, and they say they do not train the machine on the data that our students input when they use Gemini. So it should be quite a safe environment. Now, what are art generating tools? Are those tools where we input written prompts in order to get an image. An example can be Leonardo AI, Adobe Firefly. Canva has a very good tool, but also others that you might already be using. Even Gemini and ChatGPT give you this opportunity. Now, why should we use these art generating tools in a literature class? But, well, first of all, to enhance creativity and engagement. They stimulate imagination, and they also help the understanding of complex concepts. Just imagine, we all have in our classes those students who maybe not only disabled students, but also students who are experiencing maybe even a period of difficulty in learning, or students who have different visual learning models. So, for instance, for those who are visual learners, for instance, is AI generated art can help illustrate complex concepts and themes that maybe just through words they might not grasp so easily. But also using these art generating tools, integrating these visual elements in our traditional text-based instructions, we can cater to different learning styles, and therefore we will really be inclusive in our lessons, allowing all our students to follow and really participate and understand fully. Again, another element is that they promote digital literacy and the technological skills that our students will need as citizens of the 21st century. Now, you will receive the materials of this webinar, so don't worry if you might not see maybe very well because you're using a device that does not have a very big screen, because you will be able not only to read, but also to copy and paste the prompts that I give you in italics at the bottom of the slide. Now, the first activity I propose you to do is transforming a literary text or an extract from a literary text into an image. The text I am talking about is a famous one, Beowulf battle against Grendel. And using one of those tools that I mentioned before, such as Leonardo, Adobe Firefly, whatever, you can encourage your students to develop the ability of prompt writing. They have, in the prompts, we have to remember them to be specific and detailed, to specify clearly the time of the day, the setting, the physical aspect of the characters we want the tool to create for us, that they have to use a descriptive language. The more details they give, the better will be the image they get from the machine. They have to include style preferences. That is to say, if they want their image to be in, let's say, photographic style, for instance, they have to mention composition and perspective, what elements they want in the foreground, what other elements they want in the background. Specify a color scheme, which is very frequently also related to the emotional tone or atmosphere of the text they are dealing with. This is a possible prompt. The prompt really I used to get that image using Leonardo AI. So we can ask, they can ask the machine, create the image of a battle between a human being and the monster. The monster will have, and then you see in brackets, you have the possibility, the space to put the physical description of the monster. The human being will be, and then substitute the brackets with the physical description of the human being. The scene is set, and then you can give the setting in terms of time and space. The palette of colors will be, and give the choice of colors you prefer. The atmosphere will be, the image will be in, let's say, photographic, manga, whatever style. So I think that you can see that this is not only some kind of game that our students can play with a machine, because they really need to know very well the literary text we are starting from. They need to know not only what happens, but also they need to have reflected on the tone, on some of the elements, not only visual, but also emotional elements of the literary text. A second example I wanted to give you is taken from LitHub, the new edition that will come out following next year. And in this case, we can use a description of a famous, in this case, very famous work of art, a description already given by the textbook. In the description, there are a series of details given, and our students are asked to reflect on which aspects, which words, expressions, which details they would keep in order to write a prompt which gives them a similar image, but in a different style. So the task is using an image generating AI tool and under the supervision of your teacher, transform this caption, the caption given before with the description of the work of art, transform this caption into a prompt to give the AI in order to generate a new image. So what comes out is another image, similar but totally different also at the same time. And there will be an interesting, if we guide our students through it, there will also be an interesting metacognitive moment when they reflect on how choosing or not choosing certain words, definitions, expressions might have changed the final result. So this is another very quick way, because they already have this caption in their books. If you have access to the IT lab of your school, you will be capable of doing this in just 10 minutes time. But then the discussion that can come out from this is can be quite interesting, and it can develop our students' critical thinking abilities. A third example, always using tools to create art, so art generating tools, is to use a work, to take inspiration from a work of art that we might have analyzed at school. In this case, this work is a painting by Ford Maddox Brown, who was a member of the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood, entitled Work. The painting is rich, very rich in details, and it's also rich in symbols. There are a lot of symbols, symbolic use of color. Our students, after studying either the author, you can do this activity with any author or work or movement you choose. They have to know, obviously, they have to know quite well the movement or the author, to know the themes. In the case of the Pre-Raphaelites, they were particularly interested in the conditions of the poorer social classes, and to think of an issue, a modern issue, that can be addressed in a visual way, and think of the way to depict it in a painting, in a modern painting. So our students will have to decide who the protagonists will be, what objects or symbols they want to use to convey the message to the viewer, what colors would they use if they want to give a symbolic. You see how many of those aspects that I mentioned in the first slides of this session, how many aspects of critical thinking are touched here, and why. So always giving you the reason of their choices. Now, in this case, they have to ask the machine to do the work in a Pre-Raphaelite, using the Pre-Raphaelite style. So after getting the image from created by the machine, they can compare it to the one they might have been expecting before. And in any case, there can be again a reflection on the differences and what is lacking in the creation of the machine, because this is another important element. The machine is not God. The ChatGPT, whatever tool we use, they are prone to make mistakes. And we, and our students with us, we must be ready to pinpoint these mistakes, to understand that the machine is making a mistake and to correct it. Now, it's the second area I was mentioning before, in which the second area I explored to create activities for the literature classroom is the use of chatbots. Why can the use of chatbots be beneficial? Because they can personalize the learning experience. Chatbots are adaptive. They follow an adaptive path. So they adapt to the needs of our students. And if they reading the answers of our students, they level their own answers to the level of the students. So they are not going to be too difficult, but not even too easy when our students interact with them. So this is the first element, which I find quite interesting: personalization of the learning experience. Then there is enhanced engagement and interaction. You see how interacting with these machines will make the study of literature more engaging, but also it will be available all day long. If our students have particular needs and they cannot maybe do their homework in the afternoon, they can do that in the evening, and there is no problem. The machine is always ready for them to use. Also, as always, as I have already mentioned many times, they will help develop also the critical thinking and the analytical skills our students need, in particular facilitating debates and discussions. More in general, chatbots will help to make literature more accessible and inclusive. Now, I am giving you here a list of things we can do with the chatbot, and I will just try and give and explain why I think these are positive, beneficial things that for our students. For instance, we can use the chatbot to summarize long and complex texts. Sometimes we want our students to appreciate themes, or we want them to follow a story, a plot, a storyline, but we do not have time during our classes, that are not many, to read the full text. So we can use the machine to summarize some parts of this text. And we can use these summaries in two ways. Either we use them ourselves to give the class in order to work on them, or we can ask our students first to write their own summary of a longer text. And then we can ask them to use the chatbot to write a summary and compare the student's summary, their own summary, with the one produced by the AI. And this comparison will again enhance their metacognitive skills, because they will think, okay, was mine better, was the machine's better? It's not necessarily will the summary made by the machine, will it be better than the one produced by the student. Another way we can use chatbots is to modernize or simplify the language with synonyms. This can be useful from many points of view, from different perspectives. First of all, let's say that we are we want to use a text which belongs to the Middle Ages maybe, or to the Renaissance, the Elizabethan times, that is to say, a text which is written in an English that is not so, can be not so familiar to our students. Now we can ask the machine to modernize it, or we can ask the machine to simplify it with synonyms for those students we have who have difficulties, learning difficulties in understanding a full text. So in so doing, while the rest of the class is working on the original text, the other students, the one with some difficulty, learning difficulties, will work on the same text, but this time the text will have been simplified by the machine. Can you see the enormous amount of time this will save us? So this is another interesting, it is another very interesting thing that we can do with the machine. Now, because the machine is adaptive, they adjust their style of questioning to the student. This means that they really cater to different learning paces and levels, again for a more inclusive teaching. We can use chatbots and program them to identify cultural references within a text for those students who maybe have a different cultural background from the one of the class, and to explain these differences in a way that is relevant for the student themselves. Therefore, you see again inclusiveness in teaching. Last but not least, providing a safe space for practice. We all have in our classes those students who are maybe a bit shy, who do not who are not at their ease when they have to confront the whole class by giving an answer to one of our questions. Now, being given the possibility to interact with a machine which is not judgmental gives the student the possibility of working in a low pressure environment, and therefore to build confidence before participating in the classroom discussion. So again, this is another step towards a greater inclusion of all our students. Always bear in mind that we are facilitators. The teacher is a facilitator. While a chatbot can be a valuable tool, they should not replace the role of the teacher. Teachers can leverage the chatbot's capabilities, but we really are the ones who make the difference. I am now going to give you some examples of what we can do with these chatbots. We can reimagine classical texts. I took as an example Lord Randall. The students, by inputting the original lines, can recreate a more modern version. They can decide that they want to set it at school, maybe jealousy between two students, or it can become a corporate betrayal story or a science fiction story. By focusing on maintaining the emotional depth and narrative structure of the original, while updating the language or the setting, means that our students will build a bridge between a text that might seem a bit too far back in time and their own personal everyday experience of life. Or we can use the chatbot to change a poem into another. more modern form. For instance, let's say Shakespeare's sonnet 18, that is the Shall I Compare Thee sonnet. We can ask the chatbot to remix it as a rap text. The choice of the rap text is not superficial, is not banal. There are similarities between sonnets and rap texts, similarities that have to do with their structured form, with the rhyme scheme, with the rhythm, the meter, the thematic depth, the use of figures of speech, the expression of emotions, and of their cultural and artistic expression. So again, these are other tasks that are not just engaging games, but they also make our students aware of the fact that there are themes in the history of literature that still relate to ourselves today. Now, another very interesting, and this is really one of my favorite, is another very interesting activity is the one we can create by using chatbots to drive role-playing simulations. I'll give you this example. Let's say we have explained, we have taught when teaching history, we have taught of the Black Death. After learning about the Black Death, even with maybe this is something that we can do also working with our history colleagues. Again, all the examples I am giving you now can be used also in other environments and settings, and also can be used for CLIL lessons as well. So just use your imagination, and you will see how flexible the tool is. Now, I was saying we have taught about the Black Death, and we can ask the tool, the machine, to give us and challenge us a scenario related to the Black Death. So the teacher assigns each student a role. Maybe one is a peasant, another one is a member of nobility, a merchant, a member of the clergy. You choose, representing the various social classes of the 14th century. Using the simulation tool, they have to input, the students have to input the character's background and circumstances during the Black Death. This means that the students must know about the society, the medieval society during the medieval times. The AI will react generating scenarios. Now, I'm giving you again an example of a prompt in which one student might write, I am a, let's say, peasant living in a small village in Britain during the Black Death. My family, and the student explains the features of the family lifestyle, rely on farming to survive. What challenges do I face as the plague spreads? I would like you to set a scenario and ask me reflective questions, one at a time, in order to prompt my deeper thinking and decision making. Start by giving me the scenario and asking the first question. Now, as you will see, now you find in this next slide what the machine, the answer the machine gave me when I input that prompt in particular. I will leave time for you to read all the scenario, Tom, and the machine really starts to ask the student questions. And according to the answer given by the student, the machine will challenge the knowledge of the student, but also their capability of reflection and their knowledge of the world, which comes out from their answers to the machine. Now, other things we can do with the chatbots, in this case, even programming our own chatbots such as Mizu and Magic School AI and others, is interviewing famous historical figures, interviewing characters from novels or from poems, interviewing side characters, so those whose voice is never heard in literature, such as, for instance, Lord Randall's girlfriend. Or we can have authors talk or write to each other. Why not seeing what Wordsworth and Leopardi have to say about romantic poetry in an exchange of letters to each other? Now, always check the answers against bias and errors, and always say our students to do that, because obviously this means that they always also have to learn the subject very well, so they must be very well prepared. Other possible uses of the chatbots can be for brainstorming. Brainstorming, again, always ask the students to do, in this case in particular, to do the activity first by themselves. So first the students do the brainstorming, then they can ask the machine to brainstorm for them, and then compare the students and the bot's answers and see if the student can improve their answers, or if the machine can be, the answer of the machine can be improved. Or it can be used to prepare, to get ready to prepare a debate. Again, always the students always do the work first on their own, checking historical facts before an oral presentation, so using the machine as a friend asking you question before your interrogazione. Then retelling stories from different perspectives. The Dulce and Decorum Est, we have this horrible description of a soldier dying. What if the machine gave us the description of the doctor witnessing the injuries described in the poem? Or checking the student's own essay structure before writing. Again, the student prepares their essay structure and then checks it against the machine. Socratic questioning, again, another interesting way of using the machine, also for us as professionals. The chatbot can employ Socratic questioning to challenge the knowledge the student has and the interpretation about a topic, or the interpretation of some aspect or some topic, and encourage deeper analysis. Now, to wrap up what I've said so far. If there are three main ideas I would like you to take away with you from this session, these are that the machine, the AI, can be a valuable tool, and I underline tool, for the teaching of literature according to the way we want to use it. When we create AI activities, we should always have as an objective the development of the critical thinking skills of our students. The AI is, as I said, the tool is not the aim. And it is not the focus of the lesson, but the means teacher and students have to explore genres and themes from new perspectives. So it might seem difficult to believe, but it really gives, the use of the AI really gives our students the possibility of hearing to a new voice, seeing things from different perspectives. Now, I think I can leave you time for some questions if you want. So, Milvia, if you have any questions to ask from the audience.
Hey, Cristina, thanks very much. It's been really interesting. And okay, so there's some questions regarding the attitude of students when doing pair work together with the AI. Teachers would like to envisage how this
Mm,
can foster
can be
the
done. Mm.
change and interaction between
Yeah,
students working
yeah.
in pairs in front of AI.
It's a very good question. Yes, in order to keep the focus on the critical thinking, the developing of critical thinking skills, I would advise to use something which is called, it's one of the thinking routines used in MLTV, think, pair, share. Some of you may already be familiar with it. Think, pair, share is a thinking routine in which the student first thinks to the answer on his own, then he pairs with a friend, and exchanging with the friend the answers, they look if there is a possible third answer which is even better than the two different ones, and then there is this sharing moment with the class. So the students will work together, but they will also be obliged to work on their own, and therefore mentally engaging in critical thinking. This is a way I usually use to do these activities when I use pair works.
And what about the students with, you've talked a lot about students with difficulties in learning difficulties and special needs. Is this, again, useful that, I mean, to make a couple of students, one with difficulties and the other one not, of course, as usual, but how can AI help in this?
This is for sure a very good way of using the tool, because if we pair one weaker, let's call the student the weaker one, a weaker student with a stronger one, using the AI tool, the weaker student will not have the impression that he is the weaker one. So this means that they are both on the same level in front of the machine. There is not one who is better than the other one. The amount of work the AI can do for us when we want to adapt the material for our classes is immense. In my personal experience, we have been talking about personalizing learning, la personalizzazione dell'apprendimento, for the past 25 years, maybe. But really, this is the first time we can do it. Just imagine how quickly we can adapt, summarize, make it simpler, a text, while having the class working on the same text. So this is really a breakthrough. This is possibly what will help us a lot. Probably someone can be a bit puzzled by the fact that there are AI tools that can protect our students' data. These AI tools use codes. It's like Kahoot. If you have ever used Kahoot, you prepare maybe a quiz with Kahoot, and then to submit the quiz to your students, to give your students the quiz, you just give them a code that they have to type in order to access the quiz. It's exactly the same thing. So this is another way we have to work in a safe space with our students, especially the underage ones. that will make more engaging, I think, for them, the learning of literature.
Okay, one last question is, I'd like to know some safe chatbots for improving students' speaking skills. Can you?
Yeah, well, there are some of them. Also, for instance, Magic School AI. I am not paid by Magic School AI, I want to say, but it is a tool which has been designed, has come out in the last 9-10 months, and it was designed from the beginning for schools. So it was really thought in a inclusive and safe way. These tools also have the possibility of speaking to the student. So not only students with disabilities, for instance, blind students can interact with the machine. Not only DSA students who prefer the verbal, audio-verbal mode can interact to the machine, but the machine can also speak directly to them when they speak. And there are also many others. If I can give a piece of advice to my colleagues tonight is keep your eyes open and on the social media networking sites, you will find a lot of interesting groups of teachers that are related to teaching with AI. So just subscribe to one or more of these groups, and a whole world will open to you, and you will be able also to exchange with other teachers your possible challenges or problems.
Benissimo, credo che il nostro tempo sia scaduto. Ci sono
Grazie
tantissimi
Milvia,
complimenti.
grazie.
Ci sono tantissimi complimenti, tutti hanno trovato il tuo webinar molto interessante, noi ringraziamo
Bene,
tutti
contenta.
quanti. State collegati perché sulle nostre pagine ci saranno sempre in continuazione altri webinar del genere, e Cristina credo che ne abbia uno già prenotato per
ne ho già uno, sì, a dicembre. L'argomento è leggermente diverso, ma si può poi anche adattare. Vedo che ci sono delle ex colleghe nella chat che mi salutano e che saluto, ma si può veramente usare. Io do degli impulsi, poi ognuno di noi se li adatta e se li usa nel modo.
Ci aprono grandi prospettive perché c'è tantissimo veramente da scoprire.
Grazie Milvia.
Grazie Cristina, grazie a tutti
buona
e buona serata a tutti. Grazie.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci.